Hello everyone, my name is Thor and welcome back to Anthropology. Thank you for joining me in today's video. I hope you enjoy it. So if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you hear any background noise, please excuse that. I am running some daytime laundry, you know, as we do. Gotta keep the clothes looking fresh, smelling nice, so excuse that if you hear it. Today's video is going to be a follow-up to the video that I released recently around regretting selling some of my bags, primarily the Celine Nano, and also just steps that I actually gathered from you all in the comments. I was really blown away by the response to that video, actually. I was not expecting it to do what it did and for people to comment as they did. So I figured I would amalgamate some of the comments, some of the tips that you all gave me, relay them back to a wider audience on ways to mitigate and stop sellers' remorse from happening. Ways to avoid feeling sad that you sold something, and how to potentially make better decisions. So I have 5 tips for you all that were sort of mix and matched from your comments down below. So that's what we're talking about today. If you are a new subscriber, if you're a new viewer, please consider subscribing, like this video if you liked it, and comment anything that resonated with you or that you want to share down below. I love reading your comments. It's how I get more inspiration. It's how we build this community. So that's what I wanted to say there. I will leave a link to the other video down below as well. For those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go and watch that either before or like watch this one and then go watch that one, just so you can get a better insight into what I was thinking when I made it. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. So this was actually suggested by one of you, Sukizo1969. I'll put the comment up so you can see, but shout out to you. So the first tip, the question is, what happens if I regret this later, and can I deal with that? I think that's a great place to start when you're considering selling something. I wish I considered it more, you know, took a bit more time to really consider, if I sell this thing, let's use the Celine Nano for example. When I was considering selling it, I was just like, I don't use it, I wanna get some money, goodbye girl, you're gone. When in reality, I should have said, will I regret selling this? And will I be able to deal with that feeling later on? The feeling that I'm talking about is the feeling I'm feeling right now. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this as well. You know, feeling with seller's remorse. Can you deal with that? And if you can deal with that, then I guess go ahead and sell it. And if you can't, then there's your answer. So obviously it's hard to forecast how we're going to feel once we do something, or how we're going to feel when something happens. But it's important to pose the question to yourself and to really sit on it. Will I be able to deal with this if I regret it later on? Where I'm at now is I am stalking the websites trying to find another Celine Nano in Poland, but she's gone. That color is gone. And the new prices they're sky high, they are daunting. So I should have asked myself this question. There are other things that I've sold that, you know what, yeah, I can absolutely deal with it if I regret it later on. Like the Miu Miu bag, it's nice, but I don't feel that same like ping, you know, the same like, ugh, stab feeling that I do around the Celine Nano. So that's the first question. The second question is it easily replaceable at a reasonable price? So obviously, if we are talking about luxury fashion, specifically bags, the price increases that happened throughout the pandemic were really like astronomical, and honestly it seems like they've slowed down a bit. If anything, they've reneged on those price increases a little bit. But are you able to repurchase that item that you got rid of at a reasonable price? Emphasis on a reasonable price. Now this can either be, obviously reasonable is subjective, the whole thing is subjective, but if I look at the Celine Nano example, I am not able to repurchase it at a reasonable price. I purchased it 2 price increases ago, and I thought even then it was like way too much, but now it's even worse, and I am unable to do so. Now, obviously there are things that you can maybe find pre-loved, you know, there are ways around it, but you have to be willing to A, do the work to find it, and B, willing to accept the risk that comes with purchasing pre-loved, which, you know, it can be hit or miss sometimes. What if you by accident purchase a fake? What if you buy something online and it doesn't show up as advertised? You know, these are the things that will mull through my brain when I'm asking myself these questions. So that was another question that I should have asked. Number 3, this one isn't so much a question, but to just take space and slow down. Don't make a rash decision. Now, I have been known to rush, to make a rash decision or two during my time. And I'm trying to get better on that. It's something that I'm actively working on within myself. And I feel like if I slowed down, especially when I sold the Celine Nano, I was rushing. It was like late in the day. I was like, oh, let me just go quickly. Let me quickly do this. Let me quickly knock this off my to-do list. When in reality, that was an impulsive decision and I should have really stopped. I should have really waited and I should have really just thought about it more, taken time. You can not sell things for months. It's okay. You don't have to sell things immediately. You don't have to sell things tomorrow. You don't have to sell things today. You don't have to do anything in a rush. And I felt like because I was living in this scarcity mentality, because I was feeling the pressure to just move things on, to keep my decluttering going, I felt an urgency around getting rid of it. So I could have slowed down. I should have slowed down. I should have taken more time. And I would tell my previous self too, slow down. It's okay. You can put things aside. If you want to sell something, put it aside. See how it feels to have it not be in your daily life. Not sold, but just not be a part of your daily life. And I think that's what I'll continue to do going forward. Number 4, remember why you purchased it in the first place. Now, this one obviously is going to be different every time. This is all case by case basis. But for me with the Celine Nano, I purchased it because I'd always wanted it. I knew I wouldn't wear it every day. I knew that the color was slightly impractical and wouldn't go with everything, but I loved it so much and I wanted it so bad. And that's the reason why I bought it. And I think I forgot that reason, or I forgot that justification, and I over justified selling it, if you will. I was caught up in the declutter journey and I didn't really remember why I had spent the money, why I had made the investment, why I had bit the bullet. It's really important to re-ground yourself in where you were mentally when you purchased the item and what the reason was for adding it into your life and for forgoing the money that it took to get it and what essentially you would get in return if you sold it. So bringing yourself back to the beginning, remembering why you brought it in, remembering what purpose it held for you, I think is really important to reground yourself before you let something go. Because in this case, like in many others, it's not easily replaceable and it's not reasonably replaceable. And the last one, this one sort of leads in, but it's a nice way to tie it all together, to be more selective about what you bring into your life and to be more selective about how you go about spending the resources that you have. Obviously, money is not infinite for everybody. And especially right now, we're dealing with cost of living crises, prices are crazy. Inflation is having this moment. So it's important to be extremely selective about how we spend our money, where we spend our money, and what we spend our money on in order to mitigate feeling like we have to sell something, feeling like we made a bad purchase, or feeling like we need to move something on because we didn't wear it, which will then lead us back to potentially seller's remorse if we do get rid of it and we want to buy it again. So being more selective about what you bring in really leads into thinking about why you bought it in the first place, which could lead into taking more time to reevaluate your thinking and really understand how it all fits into your life. So these are 5 things that I will be practicing going forward. Hopefully, if you are feeling with seller's remorse, this will be things that you can do to help mitigate that in the future. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. It's really helping to grow the channel. Please comment your experience with seller's remorse, what works for you as well. And please like this video, share it, turn on the bell to be notified when I post and all of that. And I hope to see y'all next time. Thank you all for watching. Bye guys.